Welcome to the Beer and Nonsense Podcast, brewed by the Michiana Beer Reviewers, engineered by assistant brewer Kevin Christie. Now, here are your hosts, Christian Milovich and Thad Schmidt.
Friends of the Fermented.
What is going on, guys? Thad and Christian hanging out at, actually tonight we're at the Schmidt House Beer Cave.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's we're out, kind of outside, but kind of not. And we don't want to forget Kevin over here. Kevin, thank you for helping us do this again, man.
Hey, I'm just here for the beer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, we've got a special beer for today. So we're going to be deconstructing some things, which starts with Prairie's Deconstructed Bomb. Are you familiar with Bomb by Prairie?
No, I am familiar with as much as you've told me.
Okay.
And I'm ready.
Okay.
All right.
Or I'm not ready. I don't know which one, but I'm here. So.
Well, at 11.3%,
I'm not
I
ready.
hope you're ready. Because
I just spent, 6 hours baking in the sun. Probably a little, yeah, this should go well. We should be good.
yeah, so we'll give you a little beer in between the bombs. Make sure you're hydrated. I think we have a Coors Light sitting around. I mean, that should...
Oh, that's good to
know,
go.
Yeah, it's like
Good to go.
cleaning the palate.
That's right.
So, Thad, I gave you something that kind of talks a little bit about Bomb and then a little bit about Deconstructed. Since you're a better reader than I am, would you mind telling everybody about Prairie Bomb?
Sure. So, the Prairie Bomb, the Monster Imperial Stout, brewed with coffee, chocolate, vanilla, and chili peppers. It's a modern classic.
Yeah.
So it's won over fans over in California. You know, it's rich, it's complex. You know, its strength has built a posse that's ever growing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because not only have they done the Prairie Bomb, but they've done the Christmas Bomb, the Birthday Bomb, the Pirate Bomb.
Yep.
So they're all in huge demand.
Yeah, they are, and when it comes into liquor stores, it disappears almost as quickly as it comes in. People know when it's coming. I don't know how. So it comes out of Krebs, Oklahoma, which is Prairie Artisan Ales. I had somebody yell at me one time because I said artesian.
Oh, can't say that.
But isn't it both? Like
It's
like
both.
potato?
Yeah, exactly.
But Prairie Artisan Ales out of Krebs, Oklahoma, and it's an American Imperial Stout. It comes in at 13% ABV. This is just the regular Prairie Bomb. 65 IBUs. And I was looking up some statistics for it. It's won a lot of awards as well. So ratebeer.com scores it a 4.14 out of a scale of 5, and that was with 1,266 people reviewing it. In 2015, they ranked it amongst their 100 best world beers. They didn't put them in any specific order, so I couldn't see it, but what they just said, these are the best 100 beers in 2015. On Beer Advocate, which a lot of people look at, it's a 4.5 out of 5.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's... Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah, no, that's...
Let's jump back to that 100. Sorry. But
Yeah.
So it gives you the top 100.
Yep.
I almost like it that they're not putting it 1 through 100.
I
right?
did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of are disappointed for a second because you're like, let's see what's number 1. But actually, I mean, that's such a... With beer and taste and everything, it's such a subjective thing anyway that I feel like, throwing that out to the top 100 is fair. Like, I don't see a problem with that at all. I actually
No,
like
I don't
that.
either. Well, and that's the greatest thing about what we do, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with 3 of us doing this, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this sour beer craze, I'm not a fan. But I will try them because all, people that I talk to love sours, and I'm going to still try them because I want to know what they're drinking. And that's what I love about MBR.
Yep. No, yeah, that's you're absolutely right. But like you said, for there to be a 4.5 out of 5 on then on Beer Advocates and Untapped, it's a 4.32 out of 5. So very high rated beer. And then on Beer Connoisseur, which is kind of the one a lot of beer companies tote, they got a 98 out of 100.
Wow. Woo.
Yeah. So there's
That's
a few of them that
crazy.
you hear are 100. So I had to look up. I was like, so what did it lose points on? It lost 1 point on appearance and 1 point on mouthfeel. Got perfect scores on aroma, flavor, and overall impression. Okay. So we picked up the Deconstructed Bomb. A little different.
Well, and what I want to do as we do this, the one crazy thing I would like to do is save a little bit of each one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Pour them together and see if it See if it tastes like the original Prairie Bomb.
Interesting. Experiment. Deconstruct, then reconstruct the deconstruction.
Yeah.
Because science.
Yeah.
That's probably science of some capacity. Yeah, sure.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. So, but while we are doing this, we're going to deconstruct a few other things. And I have been researching the NFL football divisions. I am going to deconstruct, then reconstruct the divisions correctly, in my opinion.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I think it's time we crack the first of the deconstructed, and we're going to spell bomb backwards with the deconstructed. So this is actually going to be the coffee. So because I don't even know, are you a stout fan?
Not really. It's not going to bother me, put it that way. You know, it's not like I wouldn't go for it right away.
It's not your go-to beer.
It's not my
Well,
go-to.
you say we're going backwards, but this is B.
It is B because it starts with B and ends with B. But
I
but
know,
so
give
I
me
was
crap.
yeah, no,
Come
no,
on.
I get it. So I just thought we would go with the coffee and the cocoa first because those are commonly found. Now, coffee, I did some research on all the ratings for just the coffee deconstructed as well. So here's some more. Rate beer, put this one at 82 out of 100 by itself, which I thought was pretty solid. It's a 4.15 on Untapped, and on Beer Advocate 4.23. So, all right, thank you, man.
All right, so we're passing these around.
Oh,
So we
that's
got
a-
coffee first.
Thank you,
is
sir.
Beautiful beer.
And like I like how you're going backwards because coffee and that vanilla, they're so prevalent in the stout and porter, I don't know, field.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. So, cheers.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thinkies.
All right, we dinked it. Now it's time to sink it.
Holy cow.
The nose,
The
right?
nose. I mean, that is.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
So it's rich, strong coffee on the nose. Like this is somebody poured a cold Starbucks into your
No
glass
question.
here.
That's exactly what it.
You said Starbucks. I'll punch you in the face.
All right, and this is a dark black beer with a deep tan head on it, and that head is hanging around and creating a lacing all around the glass as you kind of swirl it around. It is a gorgeous beer, and that's not bad. Malts forever, right?
I'm getting coffee
100%.
I mean, I'm getting coffee way up front. I mean, like, hit you in the face coffee.
I definitely, right on the tip of the tongue, I get a little coffee, then I get those rich malts all the way back through, and then that coffee explosion in the back of my throat. I'm guessing I'm going to taste nothing other than coffee the rest of the time I sip on this little sampler.
Well, what I like about the ending of this is it's not dry, it's sweet,
It's a little sweet.
which I'm giving. I mean, I've had the Prairie Bomb, obviously.
Yeah.
I like that sweet note at the back, and that's what I'm getting.
I want to jump over real quick at the label.
Yeah.
Like you look at the label, right? Like people are smart.
Yeah,
They've got it figured out, right? It's like you talk about the complexity of the taste of something, then you look at a label and you're like, oh, okay, it looks simple, right? Just like the beer looks simple.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Right.
you get to the label, you actually look at it, you're like, that's complex,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you got here too.
Yeah.
People think it's stuff all the way through. It's fantastic. I love it.
And so imagine this, like you're talking about the complexity of just this. This is only one of the flavors that's in
Correct.
the normal bottle.
Correct.
Right. Well, back
With-
to the label. I mean, look at it. It looks like you said. Now that I look at it, you're right. It looks like the motherboard of a computer.
Exactly. It looks like our mixer. You know, I mean, it looks like
Yep.
the
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, as much as it is just one element, you said coffee right in the face.
Right.
Then it's it's sweet at the end. It's the label. Like it's crazy. Like how everything is working together here. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, no, this is really good. If this was my first try of a stout, the malts can sometimes turn people off, which surprises me because I like really malty beer. So, but that's definitely, and we're drinking it a little colder. Like the more we let this sit, the more we'll get flavors out of it. Yeah, that malt will really start to take off, and you'll start to get a few of the other things that they've done with the beer. One thing I can say, just trying this, the first of the deconstructed that I've had, is they have an amazingly solid imperial stout underneath all this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just being a coffee stout, I would drink this no problem. And and it's not multiple, but it's one or two, and I have no problem with that.
No, it's not just
It's delicious.
it's not just for dinner anymore, Thad.
I was thinking breakfast, but all right, whatever.
Oh, right. Well, you can drink that
coffee.
one with breakfast. It's
I was
coffee,
just
right?
gonna say, can I walk into work? Do you think anybody know? Like you just walk into work
mean-
drinking this? And
The only way you're gonna know is to try it.
Throw it in your traveler mug and just be like, what are you talking about? It's
yeah. Don't bring it in my Stein, is what you're trying to say. Like,
No.
don't, okay. All right.
Yeah. No,
The beer
yeah.
stein is probably the inappropriate way to walk into work.
I'm pretty sure this goes
would be
well in a traveler coffee mug.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it would. Yeah, but I would be proud of you for carrying the Stein in because that would be just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm here
Yeah, I'm
with
here.
my beer Stein.
Right.
Stop me
just-
from working.
Let's just see what happens. Probably be a better worker with it.
All right, speaking of working, I cannot wait to tell you guys what I did with the NFL division. So I think first off, maybe not everybody's a sport fan. Actually, Thad was just saying, he was like, Christian, I don't know much about the divisions. Like, I'm a Bears fan, but like I know who's in the Bears division, but I don't follow everything. You and I are fantasy nerds.
Mm-hmm.
So we love everything about football, and so I thought it might be nice to just set up who are in what divisions
Go for it.
to let people know. So I'm going to look at the NFC first. Not that that's going to matter when I get to deconstructing it, just so you know.
Oh, well, it shouldn't. I mean,
Yeah, no,
this
it's
is
going to be all
fantastic.
out the window.
We
So-
did this once about a year ago just because we might get there someday with the Major League Baseball,
Okay.
and it was awesome.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I spent
go.
2 hours the other day doing this, and I wanted to go to the next sport and do it again.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
All right, so here we go. So here's how the NFL currently has it set up. The NFC East is the Dallas Cowboys, the Washington Redskins, the New York Giants, and the Philadelphia Eagles. All are legendary rivals. Okay?
Right.
However, when you say East, I don't think Cowboys.
Not even
Dallas.
close.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
even close.
No. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So then we have the NFC South, which is the Green Bay Packers, the
North.
Minnesota Vikings. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. North, the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions. That's not bad.
No, that's right on. I mean, that's decent.
The NFC South, the Carolina Panthers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New Orleans Saints, and the Atlanta Falcons. Not bad again. And then they have the West, the Seattle Seahawks, the Arizona Cardinals, almost said St. Louis.
St.
That
Louis,
was
right.
Way too long ago. Showing my age a little bit. San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, not that long ago, same division, but they were in St. Louis.
Correct.
So, a little change that made it fit a little bit better.
All right, I got that.
All right, so AFC now. The AFC East is the New England Patriots. Sorry, that
That's okay.
snuck out. The New York Jets, the Buffalo
Jets,
Bills.
Jets.
What's that?
I said Jets.
Jets. Yep, Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And the Miami Dolphins, and that is the East. The North is the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Cleveland Browns. Went to Cleveland Stadium once. Gorgeous new stadium. They should have built that so they never moved. The AFC South, big one here that I hate. Indianapolis Colts are in the AFC South. The Dallas? What?
Houston, Texans.
Houston, Texans. The
I'll go back and edit that. So yeah.
okay.
Oh, please don't.
I won't.
No. That fumble stays.
It's in.
The fumble stays. I like it. The play stands as called. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans. And then finally, the AFC West are the Denver Broncos, the San Diego Chargers, or now LA Chargers, and are they still in Oakland? The Raiders? of
Right now.
Oakland,
Right now.
right now. And then the Kansas City Chiefs. That is currently how the NFL has it set up. Now, being a guy who lives in Indiana, and being an Indianapolis Colts fan, I will say that my first thought was I wanted to create an NFL Central division.
Oh,
Then,
that's
as I
nice.
looked at the maps, I thought I can't. So let me tell you about my Central division first. But I don't want to. I can't do this. Here's who I'd put there: the Indianapolis Colts, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Tennessee Titans, and the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
All right, so I already have a problem.
Okay.
Now, here's my question.
All right.
Do you want to get to the next step before we get into our problems with this?
Yes.
Yes, let's crack the next one.
Well, and that's exactly where I was going. I'm like, okay, so we have to stop there because we have 3 more beers to deconstruct the beer we're doing. Mm-hmm. So you've talked about
He set
where
the
they're
table.
at.
Right.
You've
Set it
talked
up.
about what you want to do with the central.
Yep.
Let's pop the beer. So
Yep.
now we have M from the Prairie Bomb. So this is the Cocoa Nibs.
Yep.
And what are stats on it?
All right, here we go. You're going to be surprised by this. So, ratebeer.com out of 100 gives this one a 59. So we just went from a base beer that's a 98 to another piece of it as a 59. On Untapped, 4.06, and on Beer Advocate, 4.08. So this one took a big hit.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but you said a 59. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
My face actually went.
Yeah, you did.
I was like,
Yeah.
ugh. Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, we will
Because
find
coming
out.
off the heels of this one, where I was set up almost, because I'm not a big coffee guy, obviously not a huge stout guy. I thought, we're in trouble with this one. Loved it.
Yep.
So now we'll see what happens.
Yep. And just to kind of a little foreshadowing here is this is not the lowest of the rated ones in the
Wow.
breakdown. Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing about the breakdown, though, is we're doing Cocoa Nibs.
Right.
So when everybody hears cocoa, they think sweet chocolate,
Right.
all that. It's not. It is bitter. It is, will bite you in the back of the throat.
Yep.
It's cocoa. They don't understand. It's not milk chocolate. It's actually, what comes from the cocoa bean, and it's going to be really bitter. So it's going to be more like what I would consider a lot of people consider I don't know, IPA, like
Okay.
that kind
Yeah.
of bitter. I'm sorry.
Could have that kind of bitterness.
I don't know why I just blanked. I'm looking at a
No,
dark
that's all right.
beer trying to talk about an IPA, and I blanked for a second.
So here's another thing kind of surprising
sir.
with this one. All of them we're going to try come in at 11.8% ABV. So that's alcohol by volume for those who don't know. This one, 13. I don't know why this one's that much higher when the other 3 are all 11.8.
Huh.
Looks pretty similar. Doesn't
I-
smell anything alike.
No, but I still get that sweetness on it.
I definitely get a sweetness. It's more of a sweet malty smell.
Right. I get a little bit of the nibs coming through, but it's not coming bitter over the nose.
Nope, not at all. Smells smooth.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
you dink
well,
it again.
Cheers.
All right.
We almost need a microphone for the clink.
For the dink microphone.
It's getting it. Don't worry about it.
All right, here we go.
I don't hate it. I'd score it higher than 59.
I don't hate it at all. At all.
59 on this, really?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be much lower in the coffee for me.
I enjoyed the coffee more.
Correct. This one hangs bitter longer than
Mm-hmm.
does that make sense?
Yep.
The bitter's there longer.
It's more of a
On
dry
the end.
finish. Where
Yep. Yep.
the one before was a sweet finish. This is dry. Like
Yep.
my mouth is dry right now. It's almost like a dry wine.
That's exactly
Yep.
That's exactly the call.
That is spot on. And so maybe Rate Beer is not big on the dry stouts, which you and I normally aren't either.
No.
But we also love bombs, so maybe we're giving it the benefit of the doubt just a little bit too. So,
No, I'll
by the way, gentlemen, I have
I'll
2
th-
different years of bomb back at the fridge at my house too. So, anytime you want to try them together, I have them too. So,
well,
It is interesting. You say, my mouth feels dry. You immediately want to drink another. You right away,
right,
like right away. Even though it's not as pleasant as the last one, I'd say we all kind of agree on that one. You want to go right back after it,
absolutely,
almost right immediately.
Yeah.
Like, immediately. You're like, okay,
It's
I'm
smooth.
going again.
It's smooth, like it's easy drinking for 13%. I would have never guessed that.
For sure, yeah.
yeah, because I would think it'd be a little more boozy,
Yep.
where you're drinking. It's like, oh, it bites you in the back of the throat and then dries you out. But no, it's just smooth, and then that's it.
And again, that's compliments to an impressive imperial stout being underneath it.
right.
So I don't know. Have you ever heard? Do they do just their imperial stout without the flavors?
I have not. I'm gonna have to look now.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's an impressive stout underneath it all. All right, you guys want me to set back up my NFL Central?
All right, so you set up the NFL Central.
Okay, so Baltimore.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Hold on.
All right, sorry.
So we got 2 more to go through. So I think you should do your Central and then your...
Half of the league?
Yes.
Okay, all right, sounds good. All right, so my Central. Baltimore Ravens, Indianapolis Colts, and this might be me being a Colts fan wanting them and Baltimore to play twice a year. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
But when I looked at the map, I said, I can't.
How many divisions ultimately are you trying to get to?
I was going to keep it the same.
Are you still dividing conferences?
I am.
Okay, now here's my problem.
Yes.
If we're deconstructing anything,
Yep.
everything needs to be taken into consideration.
Yep.
And then everything needs to be thrown out.
Okay, fair.
You kept everybody in the AFC together.
Didn't even realize that.
Oh, nice
so
call.
if you are deconstructing, and this is what we did with Major League Baseball, go ahead and get rid of the titles. Go ahead and get rid of the labels of what conference, because it's not like baseball where the rules change.
So,
if
If
you
you
said
throw the
that-
Bears in there, I mean,
well,
Bears
you
could. Be
could. You're
Central.
right. They could be central. So, having said that, I didn't think divisions because I do mix them up when I go back to north, south, east, west.
Okay.
I just don't think central fit into. I thought still 4 divisions. I wasn't trying to deconstruct the playoffs or anything like that yet. We might get there, but that's not what I was doing here.
Correct.
So,
yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
So
Yep.
I do end up mixing them all up. I
Yeah.
don't keep them on each of their individual sides.
Right.
As you're going to hear right now. You guys ready? All right.
All right,
Ready.
go ahead.
Here we go.
Ready.
So I'm going to go
Let's-
back and forth AFC. So
Yep.
here's AFC East. The New York Jets, the Buffalo Bills, the New York Giants, and the New England Patriots.
Okay, now the problem I have with that is, and doing a little research, even though I'm not the sports guy,
Yeah.
is when we're talking about division champions,
Yeah.
and one thing that I did research is there's a huge problem with division champions. There's always one that always is beating the crap out of all of them. Okay?
You're right. I just made the New England Patriots an easier road to the playoffs for
Right.
sure. Yep.
That's
So-
not. Go finish your thought.
So, are you going to even pull the wild card out of that?
Well, okay. So I see where you're going with, hey, you made an easy road or you overloaded a team. Those change. I mean, 5 years
Right.
from now, the Patriots are probably going to suck.
I
Like,
hope.
I mean, be honest. What I don't like is the same city representing the same division.
Really?
I don't like it because one of those teams is moving. Because they don't want to be the little brother forever inside of their own division.
See, but I love that. There's 3 New York teams. Look, I put
Right.
a little note here.
But that's the
I put
thing.
all
is
the New York teams
You're
there.
taking that very small region and you're saying pick.
Yep.
And they're going to play head to head
Yep.
all the time.
2 times a year.
Well, 6. I mean, by the time you get through all 3 teams, especially
right.
the Giants and Jets, then you have to take one of those teams is going to be like, I'm done being the little guy. We're going to go ahead and move out of the city, and they're going to find another spot.
But they're going to move to Brooklyn or somewhere like that.
Which isn't all bad,
Right.
Because it can expand the league in some other area
Sure.
that doesn't have anything, which is fine, like Oklahoma City or something like that, which is whatever. But I like the idea of the same team or the same city being represented in 2, maybe not conferences, but at least divisions.
See, and you're going to see the pattern here is I love the states being represented in 1 division. So you're going to see that as I
Yeah.
go through it. So,
Yep.
and so here's my NFC East. Okay. I'm going to leave in the Washington Redskins. I'm going to leave in the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to bring in the Baltimore Ravens and the Carolina Panthers. So I'm bringing a team from the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens, and the NFC South and moving them up and saying they are more east than they are north or south. I looked at this very geographically.
Okay. I mean, I get that.
Yeah, and I have no problem with the Steelers being over there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. I just didn't feel. So here was my kind of thought was you have Washington. Why not have Washington and Baltimore there together? Because it just seems like that's an ideal kind of, and I also threw out rivalries, obviously, because the Dallas Cowboys have to play 3 of those teams every year.
Well, you have to go back to why they are the way they are, and it's all rivalry based.
Right.
All of it. Like, it's
Right.
all rivalry. There's no other way to explain why the NFC
Dallas
East is
in
the
East.
way
Right.
it is.
Right.
Or even the Dolphins.
Right.
Like, there's really no good reason except for rivalries. They're trying to keep the old teams as much together as they can as long as somebody doesn't move. Like, the Colts.
Well, and that's so some of the
Right.
other notes I made here was like Washington and Baltimore should be rivals.
They should be.
I mean, they're so close.
But they don't even care about each other.
They don't at all.
I like them being in the same state of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. That's a 6-hour drive. That's not even. They only share the state. They're not even. They don't even think about each other as
Right.
in their neighborhood. Like,
Right.
they don't care. That to me, like a Pittsburgh Philadelphia thing, makes sense. It's in your state. There's a rivalry, but I'm not taking fans. Like, I'm not
man.
worried about being small. The Steelers being with Philadelphia for me is absolutely perfect in that scenario.
So then,
And so there, maybe I should have brought Pittsburgh in and left Carolina
And then
out.
Carolina stays out
Yeah.
because they need
I
to
can see
be
that
probably
now.
in the South.
Yeah, I could see that now. This
well,
might be my
now,
rivalry.
now I'm interested when you're talking about Bears and Colts because
Hold on. We're
I
getting
know
there. We're getting there.
I know.
So let's go to the north. That's my next one. So
All right, let's break down
go.
the North, and we're going to break
Yep,
down
then we
one
gotta get
more
another
beer.
break down another beer. NFC North. I went with the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears, and the Detroit Lions. I didn't mess with it. I think it's perfect.
Oh man, I think I would have thrown the Colts in there because
I wanted to, but I didn't. And I'll explain why in just a second.
Okay, and I'll explain why I'm saying that is because living in where we do, this town is split between Colts and Bears. And if you go to Illinois, obviously it's Bears.
Yep.
Most of the people in Indiana now are Colts fans.
Right.
But we're so close that is.
That's the thing. Yeah, they're two.
I mean,
they're two major cities that can handle it.
Right.
They can be close. They can handle it. I mean, Detroit and Chicago aren't that far. I mean, that's a 6-hour drive again.
Right.
I mean, I guess the only other thing is Super Bowl. I mean, seeing them both in the Super Bowl together is.
Yep.
I mean,
so
that's
here
the
was
other
my
thing.
thought process on
Okay.
it was
Sorry. Go ahead.
every one of those 4 are further north than Indianapolis.
Okay.
Now, having said that, my AFC North is the Indianapolis Colts, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Cleveland Browns.
Oh.
Okay, I have zero problem with either one of those.
No.
But just for the sake of because we're deconstructing,
Sure.
Cincinnati is the opportune one to move over to the NFC and then throw Detroit over with Cleveland. So
Okay.
you could have Indianapolis and Cincinnati,
Okay.
and you could even take. So let's say we had Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Chicago. See, I don't like Cincinnati with that group. I would go Indianapolis, Chicago, Green Bay.
So here's why I wrote again, Indianapolis and Cincinnati should be rivals. They're less than 2 hours apart.
Mm-hmm.
They play
should,
every year
they
in
should
the
be- yeah.
preseason because they should be rivals. They're not.
All right.
So
again. This is where my mentality is they're 2 hours away, but it's
Right.
separate states. Like I'm just not a huge fan of like the New York thing, right?
Right.
But I'm good with you want to call Cincinnati and Indianapolis in the same. Great,
Why
that
did-
makes sense
why did I not even think about Philadelphia and Pittsburgh being the same state?
because
That's
they're
bothering me now.
well, it's two different. I mean, it's two different lifestyles. Those people are complete opposites. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Like if you've been to the cities, they're nothing. They're both great people, but they're nothing like each other.
Yeah.
Huh? There we go.
I don't. That's bothering me now.
So we're gonna
The
have to
fact
put
that I
out-
missed that.
We might do a Twitter poll or something on these, and let's
like
get some
I like
feedback on
that.
this.
Yeah.
And as we're recording these ahead of time, we're getting a few out. So I would say the Twitter poll will come out somewhat shortly in real time.
Yeah.
But it might already be out by the time this comes out. But yeah, I like 92%. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
But that's what's fun about these is
Yeah.
like as I'm thinking about it in my head, I think of it in just a minor detail different, which throws off 3 teams. To
Yeah.
where yours are like, oh no, this is good.
When my brain, like I said, my brain kept going back to I want to create a central. But that's not a direction.
Well, again, you're deconstructing.
Right,
Throw it all
right,
out.
for sure.
It doesn't have to be NFC or AFC anymore. It can be.
And I wanted to say that at the start too. Like, this is one division, this is the other.
Right.
Like, it didn't have to be.
So
this.
so what would be the problem in taking the top 12 teams?
Well, one thing you got to look at is, and one thing I keep seeing is owners want to go to 18 games.
Did you? Well, we need to get to this next beer. Did you see what they just proposed? One of the proposals is 18 game season, maximum of 16 games per player.
What?
Someone you have to
So
sit.
you're gonna sit Tom Brady for 2 games?
Exactly. On the surface, no, let me rephrase because I don't want to speak out of turn, and who knows when this thing's going to come out. But on the surface, that was the rumor
Right.
running around that they were okay. They're looking at hard at going 18, but the players are still holding on to that's too many games. Cut preseason. Okay, well then just cut 2 games for each player. No player in the NFL. Let me rephrase that. 99% of the players in the NFL are going to say no way.
Right.
We're playing all 18. Dock me, don't pay me, whatever. I'm playing.
Right.
I'm not leaving my team out there without us. Like, we're going. Everybody's going. So
Peyton Manning, you would have never kept him off of the field if he could capably.
well, he
get out
physically and capably couldn't do it, but he still showed up.
there. Yeah, right.
What was it? A year of not
Yeah.
capable of doing anything, and he kept showing up.
Well,
Right.
that's the crazy thing. But if you can break it down like this and add another division in the center, you could almost break it down to 14 games.
I will say, I really like your idea of flip-flopping Cleveland and Detroit. I really like that.
Yeah.
I wish I would have thought of that.
Or Cincinnati and Detroit. Either one of those would be okay.
See, in my mind, I wanted to keep Indianapolis and Cincinnati in that division together. I could have moved any of those others.
But I'm also good with keeping Cleveland and Detroit together. Like, those two could play
Absolutely.
together. I mean, they're
Absolutely.
close enough yet far enough. Again,
Absolutely.
the perfect formula for me is anybody can drive. Home game could be an away game, and away game could be a home game if you really
Right.
did it right.
Right.
And
I mean,
they border each other pretty much. Like,
right.
why not?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you could
And
drive
create
across
some
the
new-
lake to the other one
Right.
easily.
Yeah.
Create some
So-
new rivals that are, huge, especially with those fans that can drive back and forth, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's
right,
get
man.
into it.
Yeah, no. So I'm ready to crack this one. This is the one I was looking forward to the most. This is the chili.
Yeah. So we're at O. So this is chili peppers.
Yep. You ready for the statistics?
As I pour, yes.
Okay. Rate Beer rates this as a 48 out of 100.
Wow.
3.93 coming from Untapped and 4.08 from Beer Advocates.
No problem.
The head's smaller.
There's
still
no
lacing
head.
off.
I mean, I'm pouring mine hard. There's no head. I mean, that's barely.
It's late.
It's
Yeah,
it's tired.
Actually,
It's,
you're
it's
right.
late.
It's late.
It's a little.
It is late.
It's still lacing a little bit. It still traces down the glass, but that disappears quickly as well.
I still get the sweet malts and
It doesn't
getting
smell
no
much
pepper.
different to me.
no. Now the last two smell the same. Now the coffee one definitely
Yeah.
had a coffee,
Yes.
shock. But
All right. Well, let's dink this one too.
cheers.
All right. This one I've been looking. I love hot beers on top of all of it, so I'm hoping there's a little heat here. Nah.
Tiny bit. There's a tiny bit. Just to let you know, next segment that's rolling in here, we got Pete Martin going to roll in here. We're going to talk about some classic cars and bodywork and all that kind of fun stuff.
You want to say hi?
Sure. How's everybody doing?
Hey,
Doing
Pete.
fantastic.
Yeah, I was missing you, man.
Good. Missing you guys as well.
So we can talk about a lot of things with Pete. So he's going to help me buy a Jeep too. So,
Whatever you want to buy.
all right.
Yeah.
And help fix my mistake. So that's all happening too.
Accidents
Yeah.
for a reason.
Right. So speaking of accidents, I broke down more divisions. So you an NFL fan, Pete? Yeah. Okay. Well.
He's the same boat I am.
Okay.
We love to check scores. I like to look into some of this stuff, but I think he's right there with me.
Yeah, I watch and everything like that, but I'm not. I've got other things going on in my life. I can't dedicate
Yeah.
that much time. It takes a lot of time.
It does. And that's why I think this year is going to be the first time in like 12 years I'm not playing fantasy football. So, but because it's just so time consuming and I've got other things that are taking over that time that I needed for that. So,
Like wrecking cars.
Just for the record, it's not time consuming if you suck as bad as I do.
so I've been
All right,
bad
so
the last 2 years, and that's part of the reason why. So I had to get out. So I don't like losing. So, all right. Speaking of losing,
All right, so since Pete joined us, I gave him a little bit of the chili pepper. I'm getting some heat. I'm a little bit, not as much as Christian would like.
yeah, no, I get a little tanginess in the back of the throat, and I feel like I get a little bit of a peppery flavor going back over my tongue, but not much heat. It's okay. If I was just trying this for the first time, I'd be like,
Underwhelming.
underwhelming. That's a good word. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm completely different.
Really?
I like the maltiness that hits me up front.
I agree.
I like the sweetness that hits about the middle of your tongue, and
Yep.
I do like the heat that I'm getting.
Damn it, Thad. Hang on.
But
There's no heat. I feel no heat.
Yeah. No,
Man,
I'm not
I'm
getting
getting
any
some
heat.
heat right
like I
at the
said,
back
a
of
little
the tongue.
peppery flavor.
It's like 90 degrees right now, though, so that could have some kind of impact on it.
well, I'm sitting next to the fridge. Maybe I'm.
Yeah, you're cooler.
Maybe I'm
1 degree.
Oh, I'm
He's
much
always
cooler.
been cooler.
I'm
I'm like
much
1
cooler than all you.
Underwhelming is the word I use because I look at what we just drank.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, I was wanting more, right?
So you know, another thing about that, though, is those are what we've just drank were typical stout ingredients. This isn't.
Right. Well, and the other thing too is this is the deconstructed part of the whole Prairie Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've saved a little bit. I have a little bit in each bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to actually pour all these into
It
one
will be interesting.
and actually see if it comes out to what the Prairie Bomb usually tastes like.
Yep. Speaking of pouring them all into one, let me tell you about my AFC,
AFC
South.
Yeah, here we
All
go.
right, so here we go. The Miami Dolphins, who I think definitely belong in the South. The Jacksonville Jaguars also belong in the South where they are. I'm going to throw in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with them as well because there's my 3 state teams. And then I was like, gosh, what do I do with that other spot? In comes one of my NFL Central teams that I didn't know where to put, but they're below the Mason-Dixon, the Tennessee Titans. South is below the Mason-Dixon, right?
I would assume so.
That, I mean, at least that's what people yelled at me when I was in Alabama.
Okay. Again. Whatever. But like I said, it's just part of the fun of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not the Saints?
No good reason. So,
Okay, all
so
right.
here's why I did not go Saints there.
I was totally.
I
thinking
wanted
the
them to
same
stay
thing.
rivalries with Falcons because they're so close. And I
Oh,
couldn't fit both of them in
I
there.
have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But here's what I would have done potentially. I mean, I didn't make out the list. I was gonna kind of just play devil's advocate. That was the goal on this
I
whole
like
thing.
it.
Was to be the douchebag. So I'm really good at it.
It's usually by the way.
I was going to say it was usually Christian.
Oh.
I was gonna go Saints,
Uh-huh.
Falcons,
Uh-huh.
Jacksonville,
Uh-huh.
Miami.
Okay. I don't hate that. But here's what I did. Saints, New Orleans, Falcons, Atlanta, then threw in the Texans and the Cowboys.
Mhm.
South.
Right. I guess I'm not going south. Like, I wouldn't have kept the names. I would have put Carolina, and I would have done something like that where I would have actually made more of a central. Carolina, Tennessee, Kansas City, and then rope in one of those, either the Falcons or the Dallas or Houston, somebody in there,
I
and
agree.
call that the next.
So here's where I ran into a lot of problems. When you move Indianapolis out of the South here, I think it's super unfair how far Indianapolis has to travel for road games in the division. I'm doing that by putting the Saints and the Falcons with the 2 teams from Texas, but I'm also doing it to Tennessee. Like, it was only room for one team in my mind of wanting the states to stay together.
Yeah. But the way they travel now, I think travel doesn't matter. I mean,
To them, maybe.
because
right.
it's not baseball, it's not basketball, it's not hockey where they're playing. Baseball's almost every day.
Right.
Hockey and basketball, it's a little bit slower of pace. Football's once a week. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but-
might get screwed with a
But
Monday
that
night
West Coast
Sunday.
team coming to the early game on Sundays on the East Coast always looks bad.
Right, but they can accommodate that, and they do by traveling a day early and getting those things
But they
and having a
still
full
are
practice.
looking bad.
Oh, like yeah, for sure. But
Well, and then you got to look at the fans too, though. But the way he's breaking that down, it's more of a fan base. I think it's more of a fan base.
I think the NFL has no problem selling tickets.
Oh,
So
Are you sure?
So I think
well, as I understand
Which
that,
is why I need to deconstruct it.
absolutely we need to make sure it's harder for them to sell tickets. That's what we're trying to do. Yeah, I agree, and I think the opposing fans should have the opportunity, whenever possible, to travel and have an easy travel schedule, especially if it's every single year. You're talking
Yeah,
about
right.
home and home, right?
No,
Right.
so as a Colts fan, I would love to be able to go to Cleveland and see them play because it's almost as close as it is. But no, if they're on the road in the division, I can't see them.
Well, as it is, you would only have the potential to go to Cleveland once every 5 years, I think, is how that
Currently,
rolls out.
right.
It's pretty close.
right.
That's kind of crap. Like,
Right.
you should be able to get to places a little bit early, sooner
Or
than that,
Chicago.
but-
Like we're
yeah.
a train ride away from Chicago.
Right.
And I can't see the Colts
Well,
play there
yeah,
other than once every 5 years.
You don't want to ride that train.
I love that train.
Oh,
I love that train.
smells like pee.
Well, yeah, but I still love the train.
At least we didn't segue to another beer after we said it smells like pee.
So we do need though because
Oh,
the division
speaking of which,
the division that I think is going to drive you the most crazy is coming up.
It's going to have to, just because there's going to be so many California teams in the same division
All right.
as where I'm.
So before we put a close on the book for the Chili's, did I tell you guys it came in at 448
Yeah.
out of 100?
And I now, okay.
You're all right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Like before,
would-
we both kind of like 40. Like, okay.
I would have scored it a little higher than
Probably.
48, but I think a 4.08 on Beer Advocate, I think that's pretty fair. I think even 4 might be, I like 3.93.
on
That
chili,
untapped. Yeah.
I'm higher than that. For me,
For
personally.
you. Yep.
No, I don't hate it though. I mean, it's not that.
So if you want to kind of get an idea of how we score things, you can check out on Facebook the Michiana Beer Reviewers or at Beer Reviewers and see more about us. And we actually rate beer there. So you can find videos of us all week long. We have 4 admins on Facebook, and we're rating beer there. We also have a community side of our page where you can see Custom Car Pete will get on there and review beers every once in a while, not by himself, but with other people, and a lot of other people. We got a lot of characters, so Catfish and Uncle Dave, and then cousin Danny gets in from Alaska, and so you can find out a lot more. But you can find us there. You can also find us on Instagram under Michiana Beer Reviewers. And don't forget to check out more of the Beer and Nonsense podcast on both Twitter, and then we have a Facebook group as well. So, all right.
Okay, so now we're gonna break down the vanilla.
Yep. We're going to break
So-
down vanilla.
Went B to B
backwards.
backwards.
And then we'll finish off my breakdown, my deconstruction of the NFL's West Division.
I know I'm gonna hate that.
Yes,
right?
you are.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you are. Yeah, absolutely. All right. This is the least impressive on the nose, I think.
That it's not. There's nothing.
Nothing there.
It's actually
I get a little bit of malts, but
Yep.
that's it. I mean,
Okay.
that's
See if this makes sense to you. So we review beer, right?
you're right.
It smells wet. Does that make sense to you? Like a wet rag. That's
the,
a bad-
That is
but-
like the harshest
but
thing.
something-
I
Is
wouldn't
it
say
harsh?
that. Yeah, I wouldn't say
No?
that.
No?
It's got there's a beer smell to it, but it's
Okay,
just
like
not, it's not intense.
I can't.
Like a wet malt.
Okay, a wet malt is better than a wet rag.
Yeah, okay.
We got somebody creeping through the door.
Yeah, we
here.
do.
Just
Creepy door.
creep.
So, all right, you
creaking
ready?
door.
You
Creepy
ready?
door. What are we doing?
Right, yeah, we're doing the West. You're right. Oh, dink it.
Yeah, we gotta dink it. We gotta dink it, and
I can't reach.
Man.
All right.
We need a tighter
Pete,
table.
Pete dinks it hard.
He is a hard dinker.
All right.
That's what
Called
she
a lot of
said.
Things.
Here we go. All right. I'm going to start with the division that you might agree with just a little bit more than the other one. I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos, the Seattle Seahawks, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a tough travel division. I hated this one, but being the gateway of the West, Kansas City, you have to go through St. Louis before you get to Kansas City. It's going to go west. I did not like putting Kansas City in the West.
As much as that area of the country is beautiful, it has nothing in the realm of sports. Like, there's not like a real good, and there's good sports towns, but they need to be supported better. Kansas City, great sports town.
Absolutely.
But they get screwed on everything they do because of there's just nothing else really close to surround them.
Right.
There needs to be another team in like Oklahoma City or somewhere in that area to start pulling that together. Kansas City in the West is like the biggest tragedy of divisions and how they do them in sports, for sure.
And I couldn't find anywhere else to put them.
Maybe with his new divisions, maybe one of these or teams would pull out since he's got all the New York teams in one.
Yeah.
Be like,
They're
"Hey,
just like,
screw
we're
it."
done with the NFL. We're going to the XFL. We're out. Yeah,
I like it.
It's hard. I mean,
Yeah.
what the only other thing you could do is make Kansas City, Denver, Minnesota, and Green Bay play together.
Wow.
Or Tennessee, leave Minnesota.
So this is why I wanted
Bring
the Central.
Chicago
so
over. Right.
Indianapolis, Kansas City, and Tennessee should all be in a division together.
No problem.
Yep. But you can't.
You can.
No, you can't.
Throw out the names. You're only
Sure,
worried.
you're right.
Throw out
If
the
you
names.
throw out the
if
names-
you're deconstructing, go ahead.
Right.
All
would-
teams
that
go
would
into
take-
a hat, and you start
Oh my
bringing them
gosh.
back together
So
the
that
way that they
takes-
need to be.
That takes me to something my dad and I talked about. What if they reset the divisions every single year based off a record, and you put the best records all in one division together? You put the worst records all in one division together.
Okay.
Well, then that would break down like you and I talked about earlier, where like what was it? Green Bay went 8-7-1, and then the Cardinals were 10-0, but Green Bay it
Right.
wasn't Green Bay, but
No, you're
Right.
right. You're right.
Well,
You-
there's
you are right.
been multiple
They won
times
the division.
in the last 10 years, 2 times I think, or 15 years, where a losing record made it in.
actually
Yeah.
it's been since 2012, which I looked up
Yeah.
today.
Seattle 500
Yeah.
made the playoffs because they're
So-
a division winner.
So
But
here-
you have teams that go 10-1, and they're not even sniffing
Right.
the playoffs.
Yep.
I'm like, what the crap is that?
yeah.
Right.
And that's where I say if you're gonna deconstruct, if you're really gonna deconstruct something, deconstruct the entire thing. Get rid of everything, and then go back to what
So-
actually makes sense, not what made sense when they were looking at revenue and only revenue at that time.
Sure.
Right.
And I think I did some of that. I did keep
I
the
wouldn't-
division directions. So here's my division that I know is going to drive you the most crazy. And you already know the teams because they're the ones that are left. You got the teams from California. You got the LA Chargers, the LA Rams, the Oakland Raiders, and the San Francisco 49ers.
So essentially, you're just calling it the AFC California.
Right. Yep. AFC Cali Jason. Yep.
Oh crap! California's big enough. It's like traveling.
It's not Texas big. But they only got 2 teams. They don't have big markets, right?
You're right.
Right.
Yeah, they're not football crazy or anything down there. So
All right. I got to tell you a little bit about this vanilla. So as much as I didn't like the nose, I like the flavor.
yeah,
It's very easy drinking at 11.8% ABV. Again, I'd be very surprised. It's very smooth. I don't get much vanilla.
Man, I'm getting crap ton vanilla right in
What?
the middle of the tongue.
does he?
I don't
You're
I don't
lying.
taste any of it.
He's
trying it
lying.
again.
Yeah,
He's lying.
He just
Thad's
he's reading
drunk.
the label.
Good thing we're at Thad's house because he can't drive. You're right. Oh, sorry. You can't see his face right now.
You should see my face right now because he'd be dead if I could kill with my eyes.
I'm
How can you
trying.
not get any vanilla?
I'm trying to convince myself I can taste it. Like that's where I'm at with it. Like I know it's there. I'm trying, but I don't get it like you are.
Rate Beer scores at a 94. It's a 4.08 on Untapped and 4.14 on Beer Advocate.
Now, out of the 4, this is my least favorite.
It's 3 for me. Coffee and chocolate were number 1 and 2.
Yes.
Coffee was 1.
See, I went.
Yeah,
we went
you're
backwards.
lining them up there, Kevin. We have no clue what's in those glasses.
Right.
It is coffee, cocoa, vanilla, chili.
Yep, I'm in the same order as you.
Oh, see, I went chili before vanilla.
Okay. But we all agree coffee and chocolate was the best
Yes.
of the
To me.
deconstructions, which makes sense when you talk about stouts, which makes sense on my divisions are better than the NFL's.
Go back to the coffee now that it's warm. I kept a bit ounce and a half maybe in there or so.
Oh, look at you.
Woo.
Right?
The malt characteristic in that has blown up.
Now.
And the coffee is less bitter.
Correct. It's actually, as much as it was number 1 for me, it's more enjoyable.
Absolutely. Yeah, that one alone, I would score on our Facebook at least an 8-9. So on our Facebook, we love to score things. Decimal points encouraged, however, not required. However, you could give it a rookie score and a whole number. So I'd go like an 8-9 on that one alone. What?
Huh?
So you mixed them.
I did.
All right.
Did you mix them in order?
Yes.
Give it a swirl because we want to make sure it's good and mixed.
Did
all
you
right?
make sure you saved the appropriate amount of each one?
No.
No.
Okay.
It was close.
Borderline.
All right.
It was
It was close.
It was
The
as
fact
close
is-
as these
yeah,
new divisions.
Sad factor.
That's to it.
I was a bartender. I
And
know
we
how
got to
to
wrap
mix-
this up too, right?
Yeah, we
So-
got about
stuff
5
up.
minutes
Yeah.
to get this episode out.
All right. So.
Which, by the way, these episodes have been awesome. It's been a lot of fun so
No,
far.
yeah, and people get involved with us on Twitter and our Facebook group because that's a great way to let us know what you want us to talk about because there's going to be a whole lot of nonsense in this beer and nonsense.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to go to Studebaker and, do the ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Wait, we're doing what?
Yeah. So we'll talk about that a little bit more.
We'll talk about
get
that
back
a little
to
bit more,
This,
but
this is what happens when you're an assistant on a podcast.
That's all right because the assistant gets to come along for all of it. So
Man, it smells good.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really
so.
is.
Surprisingly, it tastes quite a bit like
the bomb.
like bomb.
I may have put a little more coffee in there than.
There, yeah, you could say, yeah. There's
you absolutely.
Yep.
But coffee was the strongest of the ones that we tasted as well. So
Well, as I understand that, but there was a little more coffee in the mix than I didn't.
So guys, as we wrap this up, I gotta say, I think there's other things we need to deconstruct. We might not be able to do it with bombs sitting on the table, but we can deconstruct a lot of things just sitting here, us talking. So
what, like the government? Are we doing that?
No!
we're not going there.
How
We're
about
not going
women?
there. So
No,
okay, me
nope.
neither.
shut.
You can get arrested.
shut
Yeah.
Pete.
The mic
Mic
4
off.
is
Yeah,
off.
mic
Sorry.
4 off.
There
Yeah.
we go.
So, bye,
but
Pete.
lots of different things that we can deconstruct, and I think we should get there at some point. So
All right.
For sure.
Well,
Awesome.
we'll talk about it. So, we done. We out.
Yeah,
I think
that'll
we're
do
good.
it. Remember at Beer and Nonsense on Twitter. That's gonna be the big one. I think what we'll probably do is put out maybe at least Christian and I will probably put out our divisions on Twitter. We'll
Yeah.
probably put something up there, maybe Instagram as well, and out on Facebook.
yeah, because
as
we
well,
only
so-
got to my divisions.
Yeah, we
I'd
can get-
love to see yours.
Oh, we
We
might be
will.
going to Europe.
Well, the NFL is for
Didn't
sure.
we? Yeah, didn't we try that once already in the early '90s?
Yeah.
So
So
awesome. Well, you had the cool intro for the first time, maybe second time, depending on how the editing works.
Right.
And we're definitely getting the outro on this episode. So
Cool.
I'll let Christian take it away.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Beer and Nonsense podcast. Cheers, y'all.
Thanks for listening to the Beer and Nonsense podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Like the guys on Twitter and follow their Facebook group. Enjoy the Michiana Beer Reviewers beer reviews on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Until next time, cheers.